Bloods, power to the people. Black Lives Matter. Good afternoon, Bloods. Welcome to Starling on Cinemas. That's Cinemas with an S. It has been approximately 24 hours since I gave you my last review. Today, I'll be giving you my review on, you guessed it, The Five Bloods. As part of the Black Lives Matter series and the last film in the Chadwick Boseman segment of this playlist. Before I begin, if you are new to this video, don't you forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the section below, and most importantly, watch your eyes. And on this end goes to the same thing for my Instagram followers. If you are new to this video on my channel, on my account, don't you forget to follow, leave a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to keep up to date with all of my future videos I have coming to Instagram. Let's get started. So, Spike Lee's latest joint sees 4 African-American vets, Paul, Otis, Hedy, and Melvin, who returned to Vietnam after the Vietnam War, post-Vietnam War, searching for the remnants of their fallen squad leader, played by Chadwick Boseman, who's Stormin Norman, and the promise of buried treasure. Our heroes, joined by Paul's concerned son, battle forces of man and nature while confronted by the lasting ravages of the immorality of the Vietnam War. Now, here's my take on the story. I am well familiar with Spike Lee's cultural impact in the film industry, with him having a lot of great movies, mostly speaking political messages, and how ingenious of a filmmaker he is in the stories he has told. And with The Five Bloods being the first movie I saw from him, I will be bringing you my Black Klansman review on this list, since that's part of the Black Lives Matter series, and that's also directed by Spike Lee himself. And I will be giving you a lot of his movies on the Way Back Wednesday series. But this is the first full length. This is his first movie. His newest movie is the first one of his that I saw. And I didn't really know what to expect, or at least understand, because I didn't know how he tells the stories or what his methods are, like with Christopher Nolan. But also, I don't watch a lot of war films, but the ones I have seen take place in World War II, obviously. However, it has been said that The Five Bloods is no ordinary Vietnam War movie. According to Gotham articles, it states that The Five Bloods centers on the insidious nature of PTSD, greed, and the immortality of war, and how it seeps through the tale. In the story's visceral messages of racial inequality resonate like painful rapid-fire rounds of an M60 machine gun. But as our everlasting, unflinching oracle, Lee shares why we must heed these societal wounds now more than ever, especially during these times of 2020, like with the George Floyd incident. People are still grieving for freedom and racial equality. Why do I have a lisp? Why did I have a lisp just a second ago? Why? Spike Lee himself even states that The Five Bloods is about how we all carry battle scars throughout life and how painful it can get, especially if you're black, which is why we must continue the fight for equality and freedom. He also states, we, as descendants of black people, as descendants of slaves, have fought for this country from day one. The first person that died for this country in a war, the American Revolution War, was a black man. Crispus Attucks, if that's how you pronounce it. At the Boston Massacre. He died at the Boston Massacre. So you can make the case that we've been more patriotic than anybody in this country. Not saying that white Americans weren't patriotic at all, but we have hustled harder and showed more stamina in fighting for freedom than anybody else. We still do to this day. We still do. The characters. Now, I was expecting more Chadwick Boseman in this movie, but as it turns out, he is not the protagonist, but rather it focuses on the remaining 4 veterans who lived through the Vietnam War to visit Vietnam again in modern times. Because before I started this segment of the Black Lives Matter playlist, y'all remember me saying I'll be focusing on films with Chadwick as the lead, and I thought this was one of them. But I think it was fair to include this into the segment, since this is one of his last and one of his most powerful, even if it's not a lot of him on screen. Now, if I'm not wrong, Most war movies, if not all of them, see the soldiers fighting in that time period and not a moment afterwards or before. I feel that it is rare for to see veteran soldiers to return to the battlefield to not only find the remainings of their troop commander and some lost gold, which is good, but to even still return to the gritty nature that was thought to be history. But as the movie states, traumas from the past is something that will never stop haunting you. It could be you could be a baby boomer. You could live through the times of World War II and you'll still have memories of that in your head. It cannot escape. They will not blow away like the landmines that these soldiers have tried to avoid walking across, trying to fight for our country. And speaking of which, we see Paul, Otis, Hedy, and Melvin continuing to share the emotions and exchange rough and tough attitudes towards each other as they reminisce about the Vietnam War and comparing it to now and what they have and continue to face, while at the same time being equally dedicated to finding their fearless leader, only to find out that he's not here anymore. I knew in the present day he was dead, because whenever they show flashbacks of him, you know, they were showing it in that 8mm camera aspect ratio, the 4:3 aspect ratio. But as each of them are over there, they learn that these countries and territories will always have their problems and will always have their red flags, will always have the blood dripping over their problems. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 92% score, gives The Five Bloods 92% score. Now, as far as Chadwick Boseman movies go, this one doesn't do it for me. However, for just a movie period, it hits. It's not my favorite movie of all time. It's not my favorite. It's not the best war movie I've seen, but it hits its political point right home with the audience and right with everybody who's got Netflix. If you got Netflix, I watched this on the Fire Stick, which if you watch it on the Fire Stick, it's still going to be on Netflix either way. But after watching The Five Bloods, it kind of twisted my expectations, because I thought it would be an epic war drama. I knew it would be a drama in some capacity because it's Spike Lee, but I thought Chadwick would be the lead role in this, with him bringing certain acting, bringing certain substance to a different genre than he's never been to. Like, I thought this would just be another Vietnam War movie, but turns out it's more than that. Like I said, I have never seen one of Spike Lee's films before this one, and seeing how this one has a lot of meaning, you can believe that I will be bringing you more of his movies, old and new and recent. Like Black Klansman will be on this playlist on a Tuesday. Just be on the lookout. But I thought it would be an epic action drama with Chadwick Boseman in the lead role. Now, war drama, yes. Gritty action, of course. But we never, after watching some references for the meaning behind The Five Bloods, my perspective about the movie has changed. Like, leaving the movie, I was kind of confused. I was like, that was okay. But after watching a lot of interviews and breakdowns and meanings behind Spike Lee's perspective of the film, it changed my perspective. But I'm still giving this movie 7.SOs out of 10. I'm giving it an okay rating. So that is my review on The Five Bloods. You can let me know what you guys think about it, if you've seen it, and how do you feel. And with this being Chadwick Boseman's last movie, y'all can feel free to share how you feel about his presence, his absence in this world. Now, I'm sure everybody by now is already emotional enough, because they've shared a lot about how they feel about Chadwick and how much of an impact that he's made on everybody who's followed him and on Black people. But if you want to share your comments on the section below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram, feel free. So I'll see you guys next time for my next video on next Tuesday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with speaking of which, I'm gonna explain this tomorrow, because I'll explain more of this tomorrow. But starting Wednesday of tomorrow, I'll be working some kind of strategy with this Way Back Wednesday, kind of going back and forth from franchise to any random older movie, to any random classic. So that's how it's going to be. Franchise, and if that franchise has a reboot, then the reboot afterwards, and then take a break, skip that, any random older movie. So I'll explain more of that tomorrow. I'll see you guys later. Bye.